All right, today is a Chemex kind of day for brewing. We're gonna brew a Chemex cup. I've already got my beans ground at the 18 setting on my Baratza Encore. Excited about this. I've not done the Chemex, I don't believe yet, for these particular beans, so it's gonna be awesome. First thing you gotta do after you got the water to the boil is you gotta wet that filter down really good. This is to keep the paper taste from being in your coffee. Plus it warms up that Chemex a little bit too. And I'm using a paper filter here with the thickest part. It's like a 3-layered, 2-layer to 1-layer filter, paper filter. The thicker part of it is by the spout. So go ahead and dump my hot water out there. So that kind of serves to warm it up. And you want to get the scale going here, have it tared to 0 even though there's a Chemex on there. And we got, should be 24 grams of grounds here. We're gonna try to make sure that's what we got. Yep, right on, right on, right on. Very good. Oh, maybe a little bit more, 25. First thing we gotta do, and I'm gonna set my timer here, is we need to go ahead and let these grounds bloom. So we're gonna put 2 grams of water per gram of coffee grounds in there. So it should be 48. I overdid it, maybe 57, but that is okay. We're gonna let that bloom. All the gases are escaping the grounds right now. And we let that happen for a total of 30 seconds. So what we're gonna do next, there's 24 grams of grounds. We're gonna do 360 grams of water total on here. So in just a moment, we'll start pouring that over. And you don't have to be as careful with it as you do the V60. You can just kind of let that water fill up on there and let it drain. All right, here we go. Go ahead. What we're gonna do is get it to about 180. And we'll pause for a little bit and let some of that water drain. I love the Chemex because of how cool it looks, honestly. It goes about 180. You can hear it draining down in there. What kind of makes the Chemex stick out from the V60, which is what I use probably the most right now, is that it does a cleaner cup of coffee. It filters out more of the particles because of the thicker filter. And then it just looks really cool too, which is not a bad thing. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of this brewed. And like I said, you don't have to be as careful as you kind of do. They have a steady hand with that V60 at times. You can still see the gases are coming out of this. With this paper filter being thicker, and the grounds being maybe a little finer. The reason you don't have to be as steady, so we got right at about 360 there, is the water's gonna stay in those grounds a little longer and get all that flavor out. But this makes a very clean cup of coffee. You know, it's hard to explain it, but it's a crisper, it's a cleaner. Some talk about a full-bodied cup of coffee, where I'd say the V60 and the AeroPress does that more. This is more of a clean, not so punchy in the face cup of coffee. And some roasts do better with this method than others. All right, so right now we're going on right at about 3 minutes and we are just about done. We're gonna let that drip just a little bit more. While we're doing that, I'm gonna take the remaining hot water and warm my mug. A lot of people don't realize how important this is, but it is good to have a heated mug before you put that coffee in there. Got my Independence Police Department mug. Woo! Praying for those first responders right now during this quarantine. All right, so now we're just gonna dump these grounds. All you have to do is pull that filter out, dump it in the trash can. I'm gonna do that very carefully with one hand right now. Some people do composting. That'd be even better to do if you can do that. One last thing that I just picked up on recently. See, there's your cup of coffee. Looks like a mad scientist made it. I'm gonna dump the hot water. Got some nice warm mug. And for my last pro step, I learned this recently. I'm gonna start pouring this in, but I'm gonna lift that up. And by doing this, it aerates the coffee, puts air bubbles in it. By pouring it from further away, that does enhance the flavor. It makes a little mess too. There it is, cup of joe from a Chemex.